our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on our agenda is the approval. Next is the approval of the agenda. Dr. Brewer, do you have any changes?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented? Do I have a second?
I second.
All right. Any discussion? All right. Agenda is approved. Next is the approval of the minutes from our October work session and the October regular board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? So moved. Do I have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, motion passes unanimously. Next, we have our board comments. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's so exciting to see children and their families here and members from the community. We're so thankful y'all are choosing to spend your evening with us. Dr. Brewer, can we do the superintendent's report?
Certainly. We want to make sure that everyone is aware that we are having our Veterans Day celebration programs. We are having one on Friday, tomorrow in the afternoon, and it will be held over in the high school gym. And then we are also having a ceremony for our elementary and primary school students, and that will be held on November 13th at 9 a.m. I want to make sure to thank Colonel Bruce Chick, who is here. He has worked very diligently with all of his JROTC students. They've planned really lovely and very respectful and reverent events at both of those sites. So anyone who's able to attend, we'd love to have you come and join us. Also, we need to take time to celebrate our National School Psychologists. This is National School Psychologist Appreciation Week, and during this week, we celebrate our two psychologists, Mr. Pat Kennedy and Miss Denise Oglesby. I really sincerely appreciate the board's support for the mental health and psychological needs of our students. We are very fortunate in such a small district to have a full-time and a part-time school psychologist. This really helps us to help our students and our staff members who might be struggling with academic challenges. So as our staff members are able to refer students who are struggling, then our school psychologists can help us to figure out best plans for being able to help. And having a full-time and a part-time school psychologist really helps us to be able to speed that process. So thank you so much to this board who has ensured that we're able to get really quick and efficient support for our students. Next, this week, actually, I'm sorry, it was last week on Thursday, we had an opportunity to celebrate our Teachers of the Year and our Support Persons of the Year. So each year, we identify a teacher on each campus, as well as a support person on each campus who's really doing an amazing job going above and beyond in order to take care of our students and make sure that they're doing a great job learning. And so this process begins with our teachers on each campus. So the employees on the campus select who the Teacher of the Year representative is going to be on their particular campus, and then all the employees also work to select someone who's our support person of the year. So sometimes our support person of the year is a member of our front office staff, sometimes it's a media specialist, sometimes it's a counselor, it's a wide variety of folks, and we are so thrilled that each year we take this opportunity and time to make sure that we're celebrating our folks. And it means a lot to the people who are selected because they're selected by their peers. And it really is a very competitive process because we've got so many super strong staff members. And so with our representatives from each one of the individual schools, you'll see that we've got a photograph of Karen Still, who was the Teacher of the Year selected by her peers from the primary school. We have Miss Jessie Moon, who was selected by her peers at the elementary school. Stacy Cleary, our middle school teacher of the year, and Ashley Wilson for our Social Circle High School. And for our support persons of the year, we have Courtney Lester from the Social Circle Primary School, and her father happens to be one of our school board members. We appreciate him so very much for sharing his wonderful daughter with us. We also have Mr. Bernard Barrett, who works with ABM, which is the custodial company that we contract with, and he does an awesome job keeping the elementary school in running order. We have Ms. Barbara Richardson at Social Circle Middle School, and she is one of our special education parapros, and she does a wonderful job working with our students as well as with our fellow staff members. And then we have Ms. Marlene Wanick, who runs the front desk at the high school. We had such a great time having the opportunity to have dinner with all of these folks, and they each brought a significant other, and it was a great opportunity for us to brag on the wonderful work that they're doing, to be able to thank their significant other for sharing them with us, because we know that our families of all of these folks give up lots of time and energy in order to share their folks with us and to share their love with our students. And I appreciate the folks from the central office who helped organize this event. So it was lovely. Thank you so much for the board members for attending. It's a great way for us to make sure that our teachers feel appreciated. And shortly after this, Dr. Lisa Wolliver will be introducing our system-wide Teacher of the Year, and she is going to be able to share some remarks with us about her work here in Social Circle. We will be very excited to hear from Ms. Destiny. Thank you.
Yep, okay. All right, next on our agenda would be public participation, but we did not have anyone sign up for that this evening. As we move into the special recognition portion of the meeting, I'm going to ask Dr. Brewer to introduce the students who are being celebrated this evening.
We look forward to this section of our board meetings because it's the time for us to hear from our most important folks, our students. So students, we're going to introduce your principals, and they're going to come up and share some information that your teachers have shared with them about you, and then you'll have an opportunity, if you would like to speak. So we would love to hear from you, and we know that you'll do a great job, and we're in a very safe place with people that will be very encouraging. So first, we'll ask Dr. Maria Hargrove, who does a great job leading our primary and our elementary schools, and she's going to talk with us about Elijah Smith.
You turned it off.
Good evening. All right. It is my pleasure tonight to recognize Elijah Smith. So when I went to Elijah to tell him that we had selected him to be recognized tonight, he looked surprised. And when I told him it was because of his creativity, he immediately responded by saying, "I really like to make things." And I said, "And that's probably why you're chosen." And I said, I asked him, "So what are some things that you like to make?" And he said, "Presents." I said, "Well, what was a present that you made?" He said, "One day I made my mom a snail with really big googly eyes." And then today I passed him in the hallway and he was going into Miss Spires' room and he said, "You see on that board right there? I'm creative." He says, "I'm wearing this jacket and I'm pretending to be a kangaroo with my pouch." So there's never any idea what's going on in Elijah's mind. He's always thinking outside of the box. So when in Spanish, I went to go talk to him to tell him that he'd been chosen for creativity. And when Miss Landis heard this, she didn't look surprised at all because she said he always thinks outside of the box when it comes to completing this task. Miss Seawright is his current second grade teacher. And she said, "I chose Elijah as our MVP for his creativity because he has the ability to take a simple drawing and make it into something totally different. He has done elaborate drawings without any prompting and includes details that are beyond your imagination." An example of creativity included a time when I asked the class to go pick up trash on the playground. Instead of Elijah just picking up trash, he told everyone to act like they were a robot to make picking up trash a little bit more fun. I would definitely say this is an example of a creative solution to solving a problem. Miss Ryder and Miss Mercer have also been Elijah's teachers, and they said he is curious and imaginative. and it shows in his drawings and his writing pieces. He is able to think outside the box and come up with unique solutions to problems as he takes risks to try new things. He sees the world in new and different ways. We are definitely proud of Elijah and the progress he has made during his years at Social Circle Primary School. He has always been a very smart boy, and he will continue to excel as a shining star. We are proud of you. Congratulations, Elijah. At this time, will you come forward? Let's give him a round. Would you like to say anything, Elijah? Congratulations. Let's give him one round of applause.
Elijah, thank you so much for demonstrating creativity. We look forward to seeing all the wonderful ways that you make the world a better place.
Up next, from the elementary school, it is my privilege to recognize a fourth grader, KJ Johnson. And when I selected him, Ms. Elrod, his fourth grade teacher, just was so excited because she said he deserves this so much. And these were her comments. I am so proud of KJ. He leads by example in our classroom by being a champ every single day. I can always count on him to be cooperative, honest, accountable, motivated, and prepared. He is compassionate when it comes to communicating, and he's a critical thinker. During our daily champ chats, our entire class often uses KJ as an example when we are discussing the traits of the month. He is creative in expressing himself through writing and art. KJ is also an avid reader that uses his good behavior points to purchase passes to go get free books. It is an honor to get to teach KJ, and I can't wait to see everything he achieves in life. And that was from Ms. Elrod. Then from Ms. Landis, our Spanish teacher. KJ is kind and approachable. His classmates admire him, and he sets a positive example for his peers. His quiet, calm, and joyful demeanor radiate to those around him. I am thankful to have the opportunity to watch him grow into the young man that he is becoming. And then from Miss Mayfield, his third grade teacher, KJ was a champ every day. He treated his classmates and his teachers with kindness and respect. KJ is always a hard worker who is always striving to do his best. Congratulations, KJ. Will you please come forward? Let's give... Would you like to say anything, KJ? All right. Well, we're proud of you. Congratulations. Let's give him one more round.
KJ, thank you for being such a great example for everyone else and for being a wonderful encourager to your teachers each and every day. They look forward to coming to work to get to see you. And let's see, next we have Dr. Ryan Clark, our middle school principal.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Social Circle Middle School's Star Student of the Month, Mr. Lucas Truss. So Lucas, I'm just going to read a little blurb here of why your teacher selected you as our Student of the Month. So Lucas is an exemplary student. He embodies the qualities of integrity, intelligence, and a thirst for knowledge. With an open mind and positive attitude, Lucas tackles every task with dedication and enthusiasm. As an exemplary student, he consistently excels in his academic pursuits, demonstrating a commitment to excellence. Beyond his academics, his leadership shines as a beacon of inspiration for his peers. His commitment to fostering a sense of community and inclusivity is evident in his interactions with fellow students, teachers, and staff. Lucas goes above and beyond, contributing to a positive and supportive environment that enriches the overall school experience for everyone. At this time, please join me in congratulating Mr. Lucas Truss, the Social Circle Middle School Student of the Month. Hey, Lucas, you can come forward.
Thank you, Lucas. And next, we have Mr. Tim Armstrong, our high school principal.
Good evening. It's my privilege tonight to talk about our student of the month, Miss Maddie Townsend. One of her teachers remarked the other day, Maddie was one of the truly hardest working students I've ever taught. Her work ethic is unparalleled, and she was always respectful and kind demeanor. She would go out of her way to make her work up prior to an absence, and she would ask as many questions as she needed to make sure she fully understood the content that was being taught. A unique quality that she has while she thrives whenever she's working on her own, she also flawlessly integrates within a group and can work well collaboratively and demonstrates patience when helping others. Maddie is one of the kindest students you'll ever meet and one of the ones who truly makes a positive impact in the classroom environment just by being in the room. Another teacher simply remarked, great student, very polite, and wonderful to have in class. Another one said, Maddie always thinks about herself before others. She is inclusive of everyone and genuinely cares for everyone. She pours her heart into cheer and often puts others' feelings above her own to do what's best for the team. She has demonstrated exceptional leadership, maturity, and kindness this season. And personally, I've had the privilege of watching Maddie grow up over here at Social Circle. You see, her older sisters graduated in 2018 and 2022. And when I thought about Maddie, if I could describe her in just one word, it would be a fighter. See, she's been out of school several times in her 4 years here. In fact, she missed most of her freshman year due to a surgery. And most students would have just been happy to get by. Not Maddie, though. She has pushed through and excelled both academically and athletically. She is a member of the SCHS cheer team for 4 years and currently is the second highest ranking member of the SCHS JRTC. She served as a manager for rifle and wrestling during her time. It is my privilege to recognize our student of the month, Major Maddie Townsend.
Yeah.
First, I would like to start by saying thank you to Mr. Armstrong for selecting me as Student of the Month and to my mom for always being there no matter what. My name is Maddie Thompson. I'm a senior at SCHS, and my plans after high school are to attend Athens Technical College and obtain my license as a Master of Cosmetology. One of my favorite things about Social Circle is the size. The circle and the school are small. Everyone knows each other. It's like a family atmosphere on and off campus. One of my favorite classes this year is economics. My econ class taught me how to earn, save, and manage my money. I love how Ms. Donati aligns real-life examples with the economy and how it affects us as individuals, the state, and our country. I also participate in several extracurricular events at Social Circle. Cheerleading has taught me teamwork, patience, and grit. Being a team captain on the cheer team taught me how to work with a variety of people at various levels with separate interests and to align them for one common goal. Lastly, I wanted to explain why I'm wearing my uniform tonight. Saturday, our country will celebrate Veterans Day, and I wanted to invite you to the Veterans Day program at SCHS. The middle school and high school program is tomorrow at 2, and the primary and elementary program is next Monday at 9 a.m. Please join us as we contribute to those who gave so much so we can have and do what we desire. Thank you, and go Redskins!
Thank you, Maddie. We're looking forward to both of those great Veterans Day celebration events. We appreciate your leadership and also your kindness. A great example for everyone. So next, we are going to hear from Dr. Wilbur, who is going to help to introduce our district teacher here and to explain the process, the very difficult process for selecting a district teacher here.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Superintendent Boer. for this opportunity just to highlight one of our exceptional teachers. As Dr. Brewer mentioned earlier, in the spring, every school, their staff goes through a nomination process and they select their Teacher of the Year and Support Person of the Year. Then in September, we modify the criteria that are provided by the Georgia Department of Education for the Teacher of the Year. And so we create a rubric that aligns with their application process, with the questions. And there's a team, and actually this year, it's a team of instructional leaders. Mr. Jennifer Chatham, our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Wanashay Watkins, our Director of Student Services, Ms. Sally Robinson, the Instructional Technology Director, Mr. Aaron Robinson, the Assessment and CTAE Director, Ms. Allison Clark, our Special Ed Director, and myself were the team of leaders that went in and we did observations. They were actually 1-hour observations. Wow. And we had a rubric, and it was fabulous. It's my favorite time of year because you see incredible teaching and you get to experience what our students experience every day. And then after that, we had an interview process. And so all that to say, there's a lot that goes into it. It isn't by happenstance. It is an honor to be selected by your peers. It's also an honor to be selected as the District Teacher of the Year because of what you do and how you excel. And I will have to say that Ms. Jessie Moon does that in our district and outside of our district. I've had the opportunity to be in several different organizations outside of our district, and she represents us well. She talks about what she does and what she loves, and that is social-emotional learning, how she impacts everything that she does for our students. She is a special education teacher. I know that she's taught, and she may share this with you, she's taught at the high school level and at the elementary level. Having a special ed background myself, I appreciate what she does. It is magical. She makes it look easy. Her energy is just phenomenal. And so it is just my pleasure. I love working with Jessie. I love having conversations with her. It's absolutely a delight to have her represent our district. I wish her the very best as she continues in the application process for the Georgia Teacher of the Year. So if you'll welcome Jessie Moon.
So I just want to say good evening and thank you all for the opportunity to be here. Thank you to the board for having me here tonight to be with you. Really excited for the opportunity to advocate for our students and for our staff members, and I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to be super competitive and do whatever it takes to make sure that there's positive change for all of us. Just want to do a shout out to all the people that I work with that have allowed me to be in this position, that help me to support kids, social, emotionally, academically, behaviorally, whatever it is, whatever they need, we do, and we do. No matter how hard it is, we're always going to make it happen so the kids are successful. Just a little bit about what's going on in the circle right now. I'm a special ed teacher. I work at the elementary school. I'm a reading interventionist, and I'm just going to kind of share a little story with you. I do Wilson's Reading, which is a research-based literacy program, and it works. And what we're doing here in the circle, it's working because we are going to have kids that graduate. We're not going to have any more kids that can't read. So that's powerful. But last year, I was working with one of my third grade special needs students, and we were doing some sort of assignment involving reading, and I noticed that she was starting to go in the blue zone. She was starting to feel sad. She was not ready to learn, and she was shutting down, and she started crying, and I went over and got down on her level and showed her my zones card and, said, you look like you're in the blue zone, where are you at, what's going on? And she said, Miss Moon, I can't read. I can't read. And I said, well, guess what? You're in the best place possible because I'm going to teach you to read. And last week, this same child, okay, so this was a whole year, and then we're in October, almost November. Well, that student read last week, a whole entire passage, and then went and read for Mr. Wright and several other adults, and she was pumped. So that's the power of what we're doing here in the circle. And then as far as SEL, I am the SEL lead for the district, and advocate strongly for wellness and resilience, not only for our students, but for staff. We've got to take care of our staff if we want them to do this job, and to also be able to take care of themselves so that they don't get burned out. As far as SEL in the district, we're teaching kids to be resilient. We're teaching kids to identify their emotions, to understand those emotions, and then when those emotions are not so pleasant, to have strategies to get themselves back to what we call the green zone. And this is really just powerful again because these are lifelong skills that these kids are going to have for the rest of their lives. And I really wish that I had been taught these things to handle all of the things that life throws at you, especially with what all that's going on the last couple of years for all of us. You never know what path anyone's taking unless you take the time to listen. And then I'm also the P20, the Athens P20 co-lead. And so what that means is I work with other teacher leaders from pre-K to 12, and we collaborate with colleges and universities within our region. And so it's a way for us to make sure that we don't work in silos, that we communicate, that they're trying to teach or prepare these future teachers for what we do every day, and it is hard work. And so when they know what we're actually doing, they can better prepare these teachers so that they're set up for success for that next generation. And we also talk about hot topics like, okay, if we could solve this, it would do so much good for all the districts and just be like a change agent. So I'm very thankful to be a part of that. We do have a convening in the fall and the spring, and if you're passionate about that, I invite you to come out. I know you'll be there. And then lastly, I'm just going to leave you with a tip. I invite you, if you're ever not in the green zone, maybe you're in the yellow and your activity levels, you're just a little heightened, maybe you're energized, maybe you're having anxiety, you about to have a panic attack. Maybe you're in the red zone and you're probably not going to make a great choice, you're going to get angry, you may yell, whatever you do when you get to the red zone. Or you may be in the blue zone, you're tired, you're just not really motivated. So if you're in those heightened areas, this is a great strategy. It'll take about 30 seconds. Does anybody want to do it with me? Yes. Lee, trust? Okay. All right, so you're going to hold your hand up. And the great thing about this is you have your hand with you everywhere. Like, this is not, you got to pull out your cell phone, oh man, I don't have it with me. It's right here. And all you're going to do is you're going to go up and you're going to go down. But when you go up, you're going to pause for a moment. Because what you're going to do is you're going to be breathing in, holding it, and then exhaling. I really don't want to see what this looks like. I'll get that. So I invite you to do this with me if you'd like to. And so you're going to breathe in and hold it, and then you're going to exhale. And you're going to keep doing that. You can do this with your spouse, especially if you're not in the green zone with them. You can do this with your children, with your, everybody, colleagues. So anyway, you're going back up. I should have interjected right there. I would do a better job if I went in front of y'all. So that is called hand breathing. And that is a strategy to help you stay in the green zone. Thank you all for allowing me to be here with you.
Thank you, Jessie. Jesse's really helped us to make sure that we are attending to social emotional needs of our students. So she works with a team of other folks across the district, making sure that we are attending to our teachers' social emotional needs, our students' social emotional needs, knowing great tricks and easy things that we can do. She worked with her team at the elementary school in order to put some fun stickers on the floor. So there's a route around the elementary school so that if a child is frustrated in class, they can ask for permission and say, I need just a moment out in the hallway to get my thoughts collected. I'm in the red zone. Maybe hand breathing didn't work for that child. But then the kids can go out and they can do hopscotch, or the kids all know what they can do in the sections. And we have not had one problem, and I think we probably have those on the floor now. Is this our third year that goes on the floor? 3 or 4? We haven't had one problem with the child being out there behaving inappropriately. They just really appreciate the opportunity to learn how to take care of themselves. So, Jessie, thank you so much for making sure that we were hearing you, making sure that we changed our behaviors. Some of our parents in the room probably had kids come home and say, Mom, you're in the red zone. I think you need to do some breathing. Maybe you need a moment in your room by yourselves. And that's when we know that it's really working. When we have parents call and say, who's teaching my child to do this? Well, we're doing that. When we speak with our industry leaders here in the community, they tell us over and over that what they really need are people that are able to be kind, cooperative, that they're able to collaborate, that they're where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, and they can control their emotions. So we know that these are really important skills for all of us to learn. So thank you. We appreciate your leadership, and we wish you the best of luck. And we just hope that they take very cautious care when they're reading all those applications. I can't imagine reading those from all across the state, but we know you do a great job representing the whole state. So thank you.
All right, at this time, we will have a short break before we enter into the business portion of our meeting. We'll have a financial update from our CFO, Ms. Nicole Cross.
Good evening. Tonight presented is the September 2023 financial report. So we are 25% of our way through our fiscal year. In the general fund, we have we have received 17% of our general fund budgeted revenues, and we have spent 27% of our budgeted expenditures. We'll begin receiving our tax revenue in November, and the majority of that comes in January. Our other big piece of revenue is our intergovernmental agreements with Walton and Newton, and those come in both in February and March. So currently expenditures exceed revenue by a little over $2.3 million, and as I said, this is expected until around January when we get our tax revenue. Encumbrances for the general fund total right over $1 million. Next, we have our school food service fund. We are at 26% of budgeted revenues and 30% of budgeted expenditures. So we are providing more meals than we had anticipated, but we are still struggling with food costs and paper costs. So we're working on ways to get those expenses down. In September, we served 34,596 meals. Next, we have our SPLOST fund. SPLOST collections received in September for August collections totaled $201,000 from Walton County. This was a decrease of about 2% from the prior year from Walton, and $2,800 from Newton County. This was an increase of 6% from the prior year. The cash balance in our SPLOST fund is right at $5.5 million, and we have the full $14.4 million from the GO bond revenue available to begin construction of our new elementary school. Once construction begins, I will start providing you a monthly recap of all of our construction type expenditures. Right now, the only expenses we have are our architectural design expenses. Encumbrances for our SPLOST fund total about $1.2 million, and most of those relate to the architectural design for the new elementary school. And lastly, we have the first quarterly update for our school activity accounts. The total school activity revenue is $183,000 and expenditures is $159,000. The cash balances in all funds is $428,000. Are there any questions about the financial report?
Hearing no questions, do I have a motion to approve the financial report as presented? Do I have a second?
I second.
Do we have any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Ms. Ross. All right.
And next, sorry. Number update on fresh pay change for schools. If you remember last month, I didn't have August. So August, we have collected $2,169.86, and that was allocated to a school for PBIS rewards and incentives. PBIS, if you remember, is our positive behavior intervention and support that is utilized within our schools. And then in September, we received $2,131.25, and this was for PE equipment and clubs. This brings the total change for schools to $147,559.73.
Thank you so much. I'll get the hang of this eventually. I'm sorry.
We appreciate all of our community members' willingness to round up when they're at the grocery store. The change that you're contributing over and over each month makes a significant difference for our principals and our schools. It gives them the opportunity to be able to support some things that our teachers would like to have that aren't necessarily covered by the funds that we receive from the state. So thank you so much.
All right, we have a few action items for the board to consider this evening. The first item is an action item to approve an overnight field trip for our high school students to attend the CTI Fall Leadership Conference in Columbus later this month. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
I second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, motion carries unanimously. We have an additional action item to approve the surplus property resolution for our transportation department. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution to surplus the listed buses that are no longer able to service our transportation needs? Do you have a second?
I second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, motion carries unanimously. And then we have an action item to approve the personnel recommendations from our superintendent. Do I have a motion to approve the following recommendations? Catherine Lee and Daryl Teal as full-time substitute bus drivers. All right, do I have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion carries unanimously. The board has no items to discuss this evening in a closed meeting, therefore we will not enter into executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn? A second?
I second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank y'all so much for coming this evening.